If I didn't have Jesus by my side, by my side.
It all started when Aaron Burr Wills rounded up his first 3 children in 1938 and formed the gospel singing family group. He has spent many evenings on the front porch with his cousins, Bob, yeah, that Bob Wills, listening to fiddle music and some gospel quartet music he could dial up on the family radio in the late 20s and 30s. In a few short years, A.B., known as Pop Wills, would join the team of salesmen and promoters for the Stamps Baxter Publishing Company in Dallas. He would drive the family music group around Texas to the various singing conventions sponsored by the publishing company. The Wills family singing group gained some popularity and gained some more members as the other children became old enough to sing. There were 7 siblings: Averine, Calvin, Lou, Bill, Betty and Bob, Norma Jo. Lou was third in line, but eventually she led the way for the entire family of singers when she realized that gospel music, the music of God's people, would be her life's passion. In time, that passion would lead her to what became known as Music City in the 1960s and 70s. That would be Nashville, Tennessee. Lou married Howard Hildreth in 1946 and loved all the traditional aspects of raising 2 kids and building a wonderful home life. But she continued to travel and sing with her brothers and sisters. Howard was very supportive, and by the 1960s, he joined the group to sing the bass part and help drive the bus. Their kids, David and Kathy, were also part of the traveling family group, so it kept them together for most of a decade. But a few years before that decade, the 6 members of the Singing Wills family got their first record deal in 1956 with Bible Tone Records. They learned enough about the recording business that 2 years later, Lou and Calvin formed their own record label, Sword and Shield Records. Their record company would eventually record over 200 Texas and Southwest area artists. But one of their favorite stories that Lou and Calvin loved to tell was about signing a young family from Odessa, the Catlin family, Larry, Steve, Rudy, and LaDonna. Those early days of the record company gave Lou the experience and industry savvy that she would need to establish her career for the next 40-plus years. When the new version of the family group developed into 2 parts, the Senior Wills Family Quartet and the Junior Wills Family Quartet, they were offered another record deal with Skylight Records in Nashville. Before long, that was followed by the opportunity to have a weekly syndicated television show by A.O. Stinson. He had some success with notable country music stars and realized the potential for the Southern gospel singing family from the great state of Texas. Lou was the on-camera host for the program called Wills Family Inspirational Time, and the exposure for her as leader and spokesman would prove very valuable in the days ahead.
Shout, brother, shout, when you get that feeling, shout, brother, shout.
That exposure from a weekly television show also helped the traveling family group increase their bookings and record sales. Following those years of weekly TV shows, 137 30-minute programs, Lou had the opportunity and determination to stay connected to the television and record producers she had worked with in Texas. In 1968, Lou and Howard moved their family to Nashville, Tennessee. After just a few years of working with those already established industry people, she decided to do her own thing. Lou would become the first woman to own and operate a talent agency in Nashville. The company name Nashville Gospel Talent Agency would soon become the premier booking business for most gospel music talent. Over 30 artists would work with Lou, names like the Kingsmen, the Imperials, the Hoppers, the Blue Ridge Quartet, the Hemphills, the Lester Family, and of course, Brother Bob's group, the Inspirationals. After serving on the board of the Gospel Music Association for 20 years, Lou was a key leader in creating a special event that brought gospel music to the White House in 1979. President Jimmy Carter and First Lady Rosalind were on hand for that outdoor concert. By the mid-1980s, Lou began to slow down just a little bit. She sold the agency and eventually moved back to Houston to be near her grandchildren. And at that time, Brother Calvin had founded the Texas Gospel Music Hall of Fame. Lou's years in Nashville with the GMA would prove to be invaluable in assisting Brother Calvin and his partners. She would make many trips to DFW area to be involved with the induction of so many talented Texans. Because of her love for the gospel singers she worked with all those years and her support for the younger generation growing into what would become contemporary Christian music, she produced her own video series. She showed up at the National Quartet Convention and the GMA Week with her Campbell crew and did in-person interviews. Her partner and collaborator, J.P. Miller, was a good connection for the younger crowd, and of course, by the 1990s, everybody had learned about the power of video, thanks to Bill Gaither. Lou was there at the beginning, seen in all those videos. In her later years, she continued to write articles for many of the industry papers and magazines, eventually being honored for her work with a specially published 75th Year Celebration magazine. In 2005, she finished her book about the life and times of the Singing Wills family. The book is entitled Deep Within My Heart. Although Lou was given 2 honorary doctorates and numerous awards of all kinds, and was inducted into 3 Gospel Music Halls of Fame, her real love was for the Lord of the gospel. She sang and promoted the music that told of God's love for the world. She loved her family dearly and all of God's family, especially those who had been called to sing the gospel. Gospel singers. Gospel music is better because of the commitment and passion of Lou Wills Hildreth.